Ladies and gentlemen, Kuzangpo and welcome back again to match day 20. Today we have a face-off between THIMPHU FC and the Bhutan Football Federation under 17 side. In this qualifiers, we already have one team set on their path to the Premier League. Namla FC won against Samdejongkar in a decisive match yesterday, which currently sets Namla FC up at 12 points, guaranteeing their place in the Premier League. But the interesting thing we have to take from today is that first place is still not guaranteed. Namla FC, despite currently sitting at first, if THIMPHU FC manage to take the 3 points away from the under 17 side, they might very well end up taking the top three, the 3 points and first place. At the same time, Samdejongkar's dreams technically are still not over. Given their standings, if the under 17 somehow manages to beat THIMPHU FC with a goal deficit of more than 4, it means that THIMPHU FC will be kicked out. Although, however much unrealistic it may sound, it is still quite a far-fetched possibility. So all eyes on the field today. We do have rain here at Changlimitang quite early on, quite piercing, as our Warriors line up for the national anthem. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Kuzangpo and welcome back. I do apologize for the tongue twisters I seem to be facing. I held on to a piece of gum for way too long and it ended up tightening my jaw quite a bit. As we have the lineups for today, Karma Jixel on goal for the under 17 side, Hindan Tarcha and the captain, number 9. Top den Jixel 3, number 10 and 4, Somdoji Wanchu 5, Chado Zangpo 7, Ugin Setsum 8, Pemajatso 10, Kinledao Tsering 12, Levine at 15, and Chung Zangpo 16. For THIMPHU, it is Tenzin Doji on goal. Baitika is back after his red card. Did not play in the last match against Samdejongkar. Ended up costing THIMPHU FC a draw. Doutsring, the captain, number 14, Funso. Number 4, Tenjo Gelsin is starting today with number 7, Mingmo Doji. Number 11, Tilawangchu. 12, Belden Sitting, 13, Mateo, 18, Jimwanchu, 29, Rixel Sewang, 77, and Tencho New starting as well for the THIMPHU FC side at 99. Again, as a clarification to the table situation, Namla FC has secured their place in the BOB Bhutan Premier League for the upcoming season. But what is still undecided is who goes through as first place. If today ends up in a draw, Namla surprisingly will end up taking first place away from THIMPHU FC, who fall short 1 point behind as they currently sit at 10 and Namla at 12. And again, for the fans of Samdejongkar FC, their dreams are still not shut down. If THIMPHU FC somehow end up losing today to the under 17 with a goal deficit of more than 4, it is technically possible for Samdejongkar to end up qualifying instead of THIMPHU FC due to the goal difference. And as such, despite whatever it seems like a casual run in the park for THIMPHU FC against the under 17 side, there is still plenty more to play for. 2 teams will make it through, 1 team already decided. But so many variables surrounding which team goes through to the next The under-17, although they did have their shaky start to their qualifier run, losses are piling upon losses. They did show us exceptional potential and performance against the under-19 Premier League side. Held them down to a 2-2 draw. If they somehow do manage to turn the stars towards them, well, no one knows what may happen. THIMPHU FC is fielding their best 11 on the ground right now, but they have plenty of firepower more, so they can afford to spend plenty of energy. In the first half, they have Connor Torres in the bench, they have Ngong Norbu in the bench, they have Somjukdril Chezang in the bench, they have Punso Tashi in the bench, so no shortage of talent there, including Dewash Suba as well. Brilliant performance in the last match he played. But this time all eyes will be on the number 7 there for THIMPHU FC. Again, as we await the countdown for the whistle to kick things off. And there is Hinton Tarchin to kick things off. Again, as a reminder to what the stakes are for those who just tuned in, THIMPHU FC, if they manage a draw, they go through. However, they will go through as second points under Namla. If they win, they go through as first place in the qualifiers. If they lose, well, they still go through to the Premier League on top of Samdru Jonkar due to their goal difference. The only dangerous variable here is if Samdru Jonkar somehow lose to the under-17 side with a goal deficit of more than 4. Well, in the surprise turn of events, it will end up being Samdru Jonkar and Namla who end up going through to the Premier League. It is still a far-fetched dream, very unlikely odds, but it is the game of football. We do not know what will happen. There is the man to watch out for. The under-17s will have to do their best not to concede a free kick. Chung Sangpo. Not much on that clearance, but it is rescued by his teammates. But not enough. There is the captain for the THIMPHU side. Brilliant performance from each individual in the THIMPHU FC roster so far. Did have a couple of struggles here and there, but they did manage to pull up with comebacks after comebacks. Plenty of goal scoring in the second half especially. Going into this match, do let me know what you think the final score will be or which team. Shot played from distance. Not quite enough to challenge Jigsaw there. Mateo, plenty of space to work with, will decide to send it long, not quite enough there, and it will go right to the goalkeeper. THIMPHU FC definitely on the forefront here, but haven't quite been able to test the goalkeeper quite yet. New up front. We have seen him struggling with pace, but if it is placed perfectly, he has plenty of physicality and the patience alongside the judgment to make clean attempts on goal. Does have a consistent scoring record from his side. Again, my apologies if I blurted out too much, but it is as he says. Namla FC qualified, THIMPHU FC qualifies with a draw or a win, and even a loss. As long as they don't lose by a goal deficit of more than 4. But it is very unlikely that that will be the end score today. We have seen the THIMPHU FC is one of the better performers. The under-17s, despite coming close on multiple occasions, they have fallen short. They are still young, have plenty more to develop, so it is quite a high demand. So far, however, THIMPHU FC is looking quite strong. In their earlier games, we did see them lose plenty of possessions. They have been reckless with the ball going forward. But this time it seems to be a completely different story. If you follow Bhutan Football Federation's page, seeing the joy on the faces of Namla FC definitely will put a fire on the faces of the two teams today. They will want THIMPHU FC will want to be a part of that as well. Also, while we are on the question of Namla FC, now that they have secured their spot, do let us know which signings you think they will come up with. They will need a couple of established players in their roster if they want to escape relegation right after they are promoted. But do let us know which signings you think will improve the roster. We are seeing a major announcement coming from the sides of the other clubs. Baro FC, especially one, has been making a lot of strides in their announcements, very active on social media. Soon we should see other teams slowly jump in and make their announcements as well. But it is a corner. THIMPHU FC, plenty of physicality to work with. They have the height. Under 17, despite strong presence in their number 5, it is not spread throughout their team. Back-to-back corners for THIMPHU FC. It is the captain. Brilliant placement on it. But Majumto can't quite secure that second ball. Does manage to get a clean challenge in. And yeah, THIMPHU FC did sign the Argentinian coach. He does have a solid profile playing internationally. So it is interesting to see how he adjusts to the Bhutanese environment. I do believe that Bhutan has a history of a couple of clubs that had coaches leaving after being unable to adapt. So it will be interesting to see. Also, Bhutan football should be making a couple of announcements soon. There were plenty of changes made to the upcoming season. As one of our viewers is mentioning, it has been confirmed that players from the SAF region will not be considered as foreign players and will not affect the limit on the number of foreign players you can have on the field. I am not sure about the details, but that was the gist of what was being announced. So going from next season, we should see an influx of players coming from the other SAF regions. THIMPHU FC. Brilliant possession so far, not giving the under-17s a chance. They are committing towards a more defensive zone. Almost breached there. It is Lavine. Almost 10 minutes in. We haven't seen Baitika at all throughout this opening. Shot. Plenty of power. Is sent far off. Again, I would like to clarify that I am only sharing what I heard from here and there inside the stadium here. So until then, we should not speculate that much and wait for the proper announcements, which I do believe will be made soon. They did only complete their meeting a couple days back with representatives from all the clubs. I do believe a lot of important steps will be taken, especially from this season. So it is quite heartwarming to see Bhutanese football taking major steps forward. Despite the troubles we are having now, the troubles we had in the past couple of years. So we can only at this point put our trust in the federation. They do not stop with this momentum, as there is brilliant footwork there on that wing. There is that challenge. Brilliant discipline from the side of the under-17s, but not quite so on that last touch. Also, we are nearing the Maldives SAF campaign. So do keep the young Dragons in your prayers as they head over to the Under-20 Championship, SAF Championship down in Maldives. The Under-19s do leave on the 22nd. They have their first match against Nepal on the 23rd. Kamachixel does deflect it away, ball still alive. Brilliant from Chuning Zangpo to send it off to that side. Brilliant pace and power on that through ball. Does not quite meet his mark, and it is sent off the third corner. Inside the first 15 minutes, it will be the captain, Siring, taking it again. He did represent THIMPHU FC in their last season, but after their relegation alongside QUALIFIERS, it seems like we will no longer have any regional teams. Oh, my apologies, we won't have too many regional teams, which means more THIMPHU clubs in the BOB League next season. Some Jonker did make that wonderful Cinderella run. Completely unexpected, caught everyone off guard, made it to the final three, and right now, despite how unlikely it looks, they still have a chance. But it might be asking way too much from the young Dragons here to win against the favorite THIMPHU FC side with a goal difference of more than 3 or 4. Pardon. Not quite there. It is Tinchinio. Again, we are seeing the brilliant physicality, exceptional conditioning from the veteran in Bhutan. We are seeing athletes, once they resign from their primary sport, working on their body to the next level. It would be nice to see similar effort coming from the youth while they are young. There is the coach from THIMPHU FC, so far brilliant job. Did have that close call against Namla FC, Rajkumar. But so far brilliant decision making. Especially the substitutions he's been making has been crucial in helping THIMPHU FC come back multiple times. Solid possession. One of the first attacking opportunities after the starting whistle, and it is headed away. Matteo sends it off. St. Gelton. Brilliant in threading that ball to that right flank. It is Rixel Tewang. Not any options. Forced to pass it back. Finally, a cross played in, but it is sent off. So far, quite passive from the Young Dragons. It is an energy unlike what we've seen from them so far. They are one of the teams alongside their seniors in the under-19s to play with physicality well beyond their years. An exceptional hustle and grit. It is quite lacking today. They do seem to be lacking a bit of composure as the ball is played inside again. Lucky for the Young Dragons, Lavine Rai does manage to clear it off. It is Tiliwanchu. Space. Tautsering, right foot, played in! Just a bit above the crossbar. And it will be a goal kick for THIMPHU. Apologies, and the under-17s. There is Paitika. Almost cost THIMPHU FC their game against Samdrujonkar after getting that red card. The second goalkeeper did end up getting a red card as well, but he was on the bench. We didn't see them last game. THIMPHU FC playing with no goalkeeper reserves, with their first and third string goalkeepers being sent off with that red. But it is nice to see their full roster back for a crucial game as this one. I am not clear on what the prize money is, or the prizes themselves is for the first and second place. But it should be quite a decent amount, and the difference between the second and first should be not that bad. But even more than that, as an athlete, it would be a matter of pride. THIMPHU FC did come into this qualifiers as everyone's favorite. Opportunity left foot, and there is the opening! The under-17s left wide awake. The mouths ajar, and it is Rixel Tseong with that brilliant left foot to net the opening for this game. Bulldozed his way through that clearance, and it is an opening inside the first 20 minutes. And with that, the goal deficit, we ask, from the under-17s, now more unlikely than ever. Even more than the shot. Brilliant display of guts from Rixel Tseong. Had that kick flying towards him, stuck to the ball. freed himself up, composed with that left foot, and THIMPHU FC, it might be the very spark they need. The engineer smiles on his face. Solid performance from the veteran. He has been a little bit shaky, but we can't ask too much pace, especially given his age. Brilliant cross played in Jigsaw this time. No mistakes from the goalkeeper. The under-17s on the back foot. We do have a piercing drizzle here at Changnam. But after that goal, it should be the wake-up call they need. The Young Dragons are looking asleep on the field right now as THIMPHU FC completely toying around with them in terms of possession. Space, Chadawanchu. Not quite enough control on there to keep it onside the ball. Now a throw-in for THIMPHU FC. Plenty more time to go. Even if THIMPHU FC holds on to this narrow lead they have, they will go through as champions of the qualifiers. And given the level the under-17s are playing at right now, it seems highly likely that THIMPHU FC very well may jog their way into a win. The captain. Lone effort, too heavy on that, Tinchigelton. Brilliant timing on that challenge. And it is Chadawanchu with the initiative on the counter. Has runners to work with. Matteo was pitched on brilliant effort by the number 10. Yesterday we did see the two other top teams duke it out. Samjongkar and Namla. A very, very electrifying match. Heroics flying from all sides, no shortage of confidence. But it was Namla FC who did come out on top. If you follow the Bhutan Football Federation page, you did see their celebration video with their man of the match, their captain. Nice to see such passion from our athletes. Right now we are seeing Matteo down. A crucial part of their back line, participated in every match. As for the other two foreign players, Traore we did see go down in their very first match against THIMPHU Ravens. And Traore, Egon Torres, are not playing today. He is on the bench. THIMPHU FC, comfortable 1-0 lead after that brilliant left foot from Rixel Seo, the number 77. We resume with quite a hard throw in there by the Young Dragons. Strong winds again coming the way of Chang Limitang. Quite harsh weather for the players down there. Although it is quite refreshing to play in the rain, speaking from personal experience. But the rain here in THIMPHU is very, very painful. And running towards the rain makes it feel like you're being stung time and time again. So it will be quite a harsh environment for the warriors out on the field to work with today. And given the wind, their long passes will be compromised quite a bit. But no concerns as THIMPHU FC currently holding on to the ball quite strongly with their short passes. And definitely looking like the champions they are about to be crowned as. Also, if you haven't seen yet, BBS did come out with the announcement with regards to the aftermath of the match between Namla and THIMPHU FC. It seems like the fourth official was handed a suspension for the remainder of this tournament. And further details were awaited on. So it still seems like its investigation is undergoing. Although unfortunate to see Namla FC bearing the brunt of it with the losses in their goal scored, it is good on them to have recovered and redeemed themselves with a spot in the Premier League nonetheless. Throw in. Jumonchu to Rixel, not quite enough. But it will be opportunity again for THIMPHU FC as it is a corner and it will be taken by their captain, Dawat Sering. So far, THIMPHU FC. Careful possessions in the frantic chaos inside the box. Can they manage to do it again as Tenchenio goes off with that header? For a second, he did think of going at it with the bicycle. Space again, opening up. Karma Jixal this time manages to secure it on the line. Close call there. There was that possession again. Brilliant pressure from Tenchenio. Made Jixal slip. Managed to pin the ball down right at the line. THIMPHU FC ever so slowly inching their way towards the under-17 goalposts. Again, we haven't seen Baitika in quite a while, which just shows how dominant THIMPHU FC have been in this first half in possession. A bit too hard on that to Chador. No chance for the number 7 to get that ball under control. But it will be a throw-in again for the under-17s. Levine not quite enough. Dawat Sering managed to challenge it. Rixel sends it off to Tenchenio. Rixel back for the cleanup. Tenchenio manages to get a poke in. But it will be a comfortable throw-in again. The under-17s. So much pressure. Even on these throw-ins, there is Chon Example. Chon Example did grow up in Samtse, and as such, he does look up to the players from Samtse FC, especially Mateo. For every match Choning has started in, he has made sure to reach out to his big brother Mateo. And Matteo, beautiful respect from one athlete to a promising potential youngster, has come to watch the Samtse kid. So it is a wholesome story as the little brother is facing off against the big brother. St. Gelson up front. Brilliant decision to let it roll. Shot with that left. Easy for the number 7. The first goal from the 77, Rixel, and the second from number 7, St. Gelson. No shortage of goals in his comeback. Despite the setbacks, despite the questions, despite the doubt, he has shown us that class is permanent. Still one of the top tier forwards the nation has to offer. Unchallenged in his role, unmatched in his capacity, and we see a glimpse of his greatness once again. Failed clearance there by Namgye Tenzin. It is Tenjunio who does end up on the recovery. Choning Zangpo holding Tenjunio off. Brilliant job from the youngster. Dautsering. Rixel. St. Gelson. This time a bit too short on his pass. In his return, we are seeing him play a more creative role. And he is excelling at it. Brilliant one-touches from him. A quality we haven't seen in the qualifiers. So it is nice to see. It is nice to be blessed with such quality, especially in the qualifiers, where as fans we don't really expect that much. Choning. Brilliant one touch there from Levine. Might have been a bit too much. It is. And it is THIMPHU FC who does end up running away with that ball. Immediately on the counter-attack against the youngsters. Ambitious shove there from Ugen Setsum. A two-handed push there towards Belden. Recklessness flying from the side of the under-17s in this match. Their dreams of making it through to the Premier League alongside their seniors were shattered quite early on after they racked loss after loss after loss. Their only solid performance so far against the under-19s, where they managed a draw. And even despite that storyline, they did have the lead in the first half. Ball intercepted a bit too high for Levine. Shaky football coming from the side of the under-17 Som Doji. Not quite enough press. It does manage to get through. St. Gelson again setting up Tenjunio. It is cleared away by Namgye Tenzin. But again, dangerous possession. It is a corner. The defenders are left with a pick your poison kind of paradox in anywhere near their goalpost. If they send it off the goal line, it is a corner. And even if they send it out for a throw-in, THIMPHU FC has Tenjunio with an absolute javelin in his arms. Throws the ball right into the penalty area, so it is dangerous no matter what they do, but that corner is placed perfectly by Dautsering. Space at the edge of the box. THIMPHU Gelson, left foot. No shortage in confidence from THIMPHU FC. And mentally, it is draining the under-17s quite a bit. They are being left no room to progress the ball. Continue. Brilliant pass towards Paladin. Paladin tearing forced to play back. Missed pass there. It is Lavine at the end of it. Plenty of runners. Uginsetsum. Ambitious through ball through the middle. THIMPHU Gelson. Far off with that left foot. After that solid start to the match, THIMPHU FC finally look like they're slowing down. That early pressure took the youngsters by surprise. And they were giving THIMPHU FC lots of advantage to work with. But finally, we are in a quiet stretch. Heading into this match, Samrujonker, as they are currently tied with THIMPHU FC at 10 points. And a goal difference of 3 goals between the two teams. It was a faraway dream for Samrujonker to keep their Premier League chances alive. But that goal deficit widening by the minute. But at this point, it does not even seem like we will need to do all those calculations, as THIMPHU FC comfortably in the lead with 2-0. Ambitious there. It is perfectly read by Kinedar. All the space he needs to work with down on that right flank is matched pace for pace with Baitil. Wangchu challenge does finally set him off. It is a corner. One of the first advantages. Back post, header sent in by Tika. Fully extended at the last minute. Brilliant goalkeeping. It was a fantastic effort from the big man, Somtoji. By Tika, absolutely crucial to this lineup. As that corner is taken again. Placed back post again, not quite there. A corner again given. Back to back to back for the Young Dragons. Hugensetsu. The seconds ticking on. Ball placed to back post. Bounced off the crossbar, and finally we are back with THIMPHU FC's possession. THIMPHU FC so far comfortable with the lead that Rixel and THIMPHU Gelson have given them. And it seems like they are in no rush to get one more. The under-17s are finally balancing the possession game. It was utterly dominant in the first half an hour by THIMPHU FC. They do manage to get the ball back, however. Challenge there from behind. THIMPHU Gelson is starting, and they will not want that. Setsum lost his balance. And it will be CG7 hunting for what could potentially be his second. In the qualifiers from the set piece, he does have one. Made sure he got his two. Only one miss from the free kick so far. In the set piece yesterday, he did decided to go for the pass. Can we see something different? One step right into the wall. St. Gilson this time decides to chip it high. Easy save there for Jigsaw. The Young Dragons obviously breathing a sigh of relief with that slip up from the number 7. He did have 2 goals scored in his first 2 free kicks. But the odds finally getting to the legend. As we are back again with THIMPHU FC's possession. The under-17s are finally finding their rhythm. It is Kilitawa. Bemajaso finally seeing the number 10. This time he is on the right. Lavin Rai. Not quite there. Hinton Turchin will move forward by Tika. Forced to send it off to the flanks. Brilliant challenge there from Somdoji. Left foot cross played in. There is Bemajatso. Finally seeing the under-17s come alive, and we are, and 30 minutes in, we might finally have a match at our hands. Apologies, 40 minutes in. Levine, brilliant effort, wins it back. Setsum, forced to play back. Saint-Junio is up there with the pressure. Gilidor will try again. Went too far up. Not quite enough accuracy on that poke. THIMPHU FC definitely looking like they will be securing their top spot in the qualifiers and their rightful place in the BOB Premier League. Namla FC. Most people did root for THIMPHU Ravens going forward, but they could not quite get their rhythm early enough to get the points they needed. Brilliant through ball on that. It is Lavin Rai on that run. Back heel. Might have been a bit too much. Chador does manage to send that cross in. Space. Left foot, too much power, and it flies above and beyond. Also, while we are currently in a silent back and forth, I would like to put out the request to please to subscribe to Bhutan Football Federation's YouTube channel and also to your Facebook page for announcements if you haven't already. Also, big thanks to our beverage partner Coca-Cola and to our main sponsors, Bank of Bhutan. Hit the Turchin. Finally seeing the captain make a play on the ball. This time decides to take it middle. Lavin Rai might not have been enough to retain possession. Shoved away by Punso. It then does manage to get it back. There is the physicality we've been missing from the under-17s. Finally making their appearance on the ground today. A bit too strong on that left foot, however. The under-17s are our future. They are our young dragons, so when they play well, it does make us happy. But today they seem to be having a mental block of their own. Gildaw. Pass does not get there to Somdoji. Palin. Back to Tinchkelson. Challenge in time from Somdoji. In the third. Back to Levine. Set some space in the midfield. There is the captain. Will have the opportunity to go against the CG7. Decides to pass it to Setsum. Levine Rai. Pass thrown towards the side, and it will be a throw-in for THIMPHU FC. As we are left with less than 1 minute until the whistle to signal the end of first half. By Tika. Intercepted. Perfect control. Did not let that ball bounce any more than centimeters, as there is the signal for extra time. 1 more minute added. Gelson sends it long, intercepted easily by the Young Dragons. It is Levine Rai. Manages to get it under control. Played in through ball this time around. Possession kept alive. Kilnadaw. Ball crossed inside. Might be an opportunity. Not quite headed away. It is still Somdoji with the ball. The 17th. If they play their cards right, this might be the last possession they can work with. Hail Mary played inside the box, headed away. The captain of THIMPHU FC gets away with it. The ball on the wing. Less than 15 seconds. Belden Tiring makes that burst to get to that ball. Rixel on the wing. Has that one-on-one against Choning Zangpo. Left-footed. Touch sends it right to the defender. And there we have it. Solid performance from the champions to be. As THIMPHU FC enter the halftime break 2-2, the under-17s 0. The Young Dragons looked completely dead in the first 40 minutes. But if that last 5 minutes were any signs of what is to come, then we might have a brilliant challenge at our hands. If the under-17s somehow hold THIMPHU FC to their 2 goals that they have right now and manage to get back in with 2 goals of their own, then THIMPHU FC goes through with a draw, but they do lose their positions as champions and will go through as second place. So despite THIMPHU FC looking quite comfortable right now, there are still a lot of questions to be answered, a lot of variables to be settled. But until then, this was your commentator, Ugintesh Tochi. Ladies and gentlemen, chilly weather here in Changlimitang. So until then, see you all in the second half. Ladies and gentlemen, Kusangpo, and welcome back again to the second half. We have a substitution immediately coming in. Big Madoji for THIMPHU is coming off, some Jugdral coming in. And it is Karmadoji Wanchu. The second substitution. So far, a quiet first half for both teams, but the last 5 minutes have been a different story altogether. The under-19s definitely putting up a much more worthy fight in the last 5 minutes. As there is the whistle to kick things off. We are underway, THIMPHU FC. Exceptional possession game in the first half an hour. Did finally show a bit of struggle. But seems like they are back in form, balancing. Brilliant run, brilliant possession. Sends it off to the left, some Jugdral. Gilson did start this game alongside St. Neo. So it did mean some Jugdral had to play from the bench. A very capable player did earn the man of the match in their first match. With 2 goals, a left-footed cross played low. It is uninterrupted. Showing Zangpo. Desperate clearance there, deflected. Left foot again. Jigsaw there for the save. So far, the scorers from the side of THIMPHU FC have been Tenju Gelson, who scored the second, and Rixel Seong, who scored the first. The 77 and the 7. By Tika. We have gone proper stretches of time without seeing the THIMPHU FC goalkeeper, as the under-17s could not bring the ball up into the opponent's half at all. Hopefully there were a couple of changes in the game plan. Hopefully the under-17s put up a much better fight, although they are well out of the race for the qualifiers. The result today does affect the standings. Heading into this match, Namla was at the top with 12 points after that win against Samdrujonkar. THIMPHU FC currently at 10 points alongside Samdrujonkar, which means that if THIMPHU FC does manage to retain their lead that they have right now and go through with the win, they will get first place. However, if they manage or are held down to a draw by the under-17s, they will go up 1 point to 11, which means that although they secure promotion, they will go through as runner-ups. Gelson. Brilliant timing on that challenge by Somtoji. It is stolen back. Brilliant effort. Gelson did not see the number 5 coming at all. It is hard to miss the big man, but he made it happen nonetheless. And there is Namgil Tenzin down on that left flank. Has that one-on-one against Kamatoji. Kamatoji, the sub, just managed to win back possession. Again, if the viewers from the first half are back here where we had the discussion about the international players and the soft players, it seems like there will probably be a clause limiting the number of soft players that you can include, although they will be considered local players. I do believe, as from what I've heard, it is not sure. I am not clear as well. But I did hear that the international players, the restrictions on them will remain. The soft players, although the restrictions as foreign players will be lifted, they will be limited to maybe about 8 players per team. Early on, we did consider that might take away opportunities from our local players. It seems like it has been addressed, and it seems like there is a clause limiting the number of soft players who can be fielded at any given time. So there's that, but it is still not concrete, and we will have to wait for the official announcements. But at least for now, it should help our earlier viewers to avoid the headache of worrying about the ruined chances of the Bhutanese footballers. We are back to a quiet stretch of play between the two teams here today. THIMPHU FC has already given their best. It is looking unlikely that the under-17s will come back. But they have led us to believe that plenty of times have they come back with a goal. In the under-17s first campaign where they were losing, I believe, 4-0 against Namla, Lavin Rai managed to pull off an absolute screamer from distance. Caught himself by surprise, caught everyone by surprise, and netted a goal from distance. Even in that second, Lavin Rai managed to come back in with a point blank volley with the entirety of his force. So we cannot quite discount the under-17s from coming back into this match. It is still a narrow 2-goal lead for THIMPHU FC. There is the captain, Dautsering. Having worked with THIMPHU City's and THIMPHU FC's current coach from their days in Samti, the coach is showing immense trust in his captain in being able to orchestrate the same offense in this new roster. Throw ball, Giledawa. Deflected on that pass, it is from Juktrul. With the patience to hold back the offense and look for better options. There is space on the right. It is the sub Kamatochi. Gelton with that right. Way too strong. Way off the mark. Chixel. Brilliant potential in the goalkeeper for the Young Dragons. He does tend to slip up here and then, but it is understandable given his age. Give him a year or two, we are guaranteed to see him start for the senior squad. And while we are on that topic, we are drawing ever so near to the matchup against Brunei. For the AFC qualifiers, we are coming off of losses in Doha. So it is a mostly new faces we are seeing. We are seeing the return of CG7 as there is in the detergent. Keeps the ball alive. Held onto that ball on that run a bit too much. I believe it rolled off. Close call there. But I do believe the ball rolled over the line on that possession from the captain and the detergent. The under-17s does miss this one time. Cross played. Chukdril keeps it alive with that left. Giledawa. Back pass deflected off of Levine. Sencho sends it off to the right. Left foot, Jigsaw. Comfortable save, not quite enough air in that ball to make the keeper work hard. THIMPHU FC wins the ball back. Brilliant pressure. Jugdral sets it up on the left. It is Tinchunio inside the box. Does slip, does recover. Jugdral. Brilliant step over, left-footed roll, sent middle. It is Tinchu Gelson on that far side. Shot goes in. Jigsaw saves it first. Devastation on the follow-up. So many close opportunities. Jigsaw will have plenty of words for his defenders. The rain definitely bothering the vision on the goalkeepers today. And with the blitzes, the THIMPHU FC is showering the under-17 side with. It will be humongous burden on the goalkeeper there. At the 55-minute mark, THIMPHU FC ticking down every second, solidifying their lead every second, bringing them closer and closer to the 3 points that will make them the champions of the qualifiers. Although we are down to the final 3, the story is between the two teams of THIMPHU and Namla. We have seen no shortage in the talent pool from all over the country. Samjonker. From the east, we've seen capable players there. Number 10, Bikash Jordan Monger. Very solid alongside the number 7 from their side who attained newfound fame, the Bhutanese Honda. It was a lacking performance in that final decisive showdown against Namla FC. Samjonker, plenty of opportunities. This striker up front just couldn't capitalize. It was an off game after those 2 brilliant performances from the number 7, but there is only too much we can ask from one person. Samjonker picked number 10, number 7. Their goalkeeper solid as well. Tashi. Apologies, Toji Kelson from RTC. Even Punsling, we did see plenty of capable talent in number 10, Somrupton. Number 21, Pring Jogi. Brilliant technicians with the ball at their feet. Does not matter how many defenders they are up against. They do come from a highly proficient futsal background, well reputed down in Punsling. And it was fun to see their skills translate over here to the 11th side here, Changlimitang. So it is interesting to see which players will be picked up by the teams going forward. As there is THIMPHU FC plenty of chances building up ever so slowly, creeping their way forward. Left-footed power shot. Way too low. It is saved by Jigsaw. The number 1 underneath the goalpost, absolutely carrying the Young Dragons. He is the sole reason why THIMPHU FC haven't been able to extend their lead. Also, to our earlier viewers, again, apologies. It seems like something is building up in this corner. There is Tinchi Gelson. Pimachaso. Pressured to pass it back again, as I was saying. Regarding our earlier discussion, with the new changes to the soft players who will no longer be treated as foreign, it seems like, at least from what I hear, they will be putting a cap on the number of soft players that can be fielded as well. It will be higher than the number of foreign players that will be fielded, but I think it will be capped at 8. But then again, we will have to wait for the official announcement. Having a team completely filled with foreign players will be consequential to the growth of Bhutanese football talent. So it should be something that they must have addressed. But until then, it is all speculation until we see the official announcement. THIMPHU FC. An exciting last 5 minutes in the first half. But the game has gone pretty stale pretty early. It is Laveen Rai at the end of the ball. Tincho, header off to the side, manages to get it back. Space to work with, sees the man on the right flank. It is the sub Karmadochi. No challenge comes his way, given plenty of time. Brilliant pass there. Chimochu set Jugdral perfectly. Balden. THIMPHU forced to retreat. Finally sees an option for a cross played inside the box. Header played inside. Not quite enough contact there for CG7 to guide that ball into the post. And it will be a goal kick for the Young Dragons. Jigsaw, ball played long. It is THIMPHU at the end of it. Neo played to Tincho Gelson. Tincho Gelson holds it back, switches things up to that right flank. Short pass, Neo. Flick does not work, and it is the under-17s coming away with that ball. But too much pressure, however, they are forced to send it out. Throw in. Balden. Ball played off to that left. Some juggle, plenty of pace, but not enough to get to that ball. Too strong from Balden Singh. Jigsaw. Less than half an hour left into the match. The under-17s. Chador panicked on that shot by Tika. Race against Pemajatso. It is the goalkeeper who manages to get to it first. A complete mistake from the side of Chador. But they do manage to recover, and it will be a throw-in. There is a substitution coming the way of the under-17s. It is Tringchera. As we await play to stop. Somdoji does not manage to beat Drixel. Has that first goal. And finally, the sub coming in for the under-17s. It is Pemajatso coming out for Tringchera. The number 10. Definitely lacking presence despite his potential that we know he has. Does come from a football bloodline, lineage. His older brother, Organwachu. His sister, the captain of the women's national team, Pemacharan. Solid talent in the family. He is an up and coming in the football world himself. Space there. THIMPHU. Can he capitalize? Left foot played out to THIMPHU. Kelson, touch a bit too heavy. Can't quite get it under control, but close call nonetheless, as THIMPHU FC did manage to find that gap in the under-17 armor. Jigsaw. Levine. Not quite enough power. It is from Chukdral. The under-17s. Does not beat Sonam Jugdral. THIMPHU Kelson did not expect that ball. The under-17 stealing the ball from each other. Panic and pressure definitely playing against the Young Dragons. Brilliant chip on that ball. Rixel not quite there. And it is Hilton Tarchin finally making a play on the ball. Pass played out left. Ugin Setsum. There is the sub, Tringcheda. Exceptionally shifty from the youngster. We have seen brilliant first touch. Brilliant explosiveness from the man in his first step. Hopefully they will be able to take advantage of the new, fresh pace they have on the wings. Late challenge there. Ugin Setsum is down. And it will be a free kick for the under-17s. There is a sub made from the THIMPHU FC side. It is Tandon, the number 27. The under-17s. Their first set piece. Golden opportunity. There's that whistle. Shot placed perfectly. Plenty of power. Decent angle just off to that left. Even if it was on target. Baitika intimidating at the goalposts. Had the entire post covered. Tringcheda knocked down. THIMPHU Kelson. Space opens up for THIMPHU FC. Some Jugdral, beautiful cut. Might have been a bit too short on that pass. THIMPHU does manage to recover. Anyone's ball. Some Jugdral sends it out. THIMPHU Kelson. Short pass played middle. The sub is down. Tandin simply couldn't react fast enough for that ball. No shot. So many passes. THIMPHU Kelson does get it from the captain. Left foot, THIMPHU. Strong presence up front. His physicality anchoring the front line as that cross played in again. Header. Way off. THIMPHU FC on the verge of breaking through with another goal. But at this point, simply lacking the magic at the final stretch. It is Jigsaw back. Quiet stretch of the game right now. Also to Namgipal who is back. With regards to the updated changes on the SAF players who will now be treated as locals, it seems like there will be a clause restricting them to maybe 8 players. I am not quite sure with regards to the exact details, but I did ask around during the halftime break. And apparently the count for the foreigners will remain the same. at maybe about 5 or 6. I am not sure, but with regards to the SAF players, it seems like the number of players that can be fielded will be restricted at 8, despite them being treated as locals. So, well, it seems like they did address the issue of Bhutanese players maybe not getting enough playing time in our own league. Some Chukral. Too much heroics, held on to it too long, and it is the 117s immediately on the counter. There is the sub-string Cheddar, hands it off to Chador. Has the option to send it off with that left, not quite enough lift, had the Madba. Had his targets, just couldn't quite get the ball over to him. Less than 20 minutes remain. Unfortunate judgment there. And it is a throw-in, Canada. Harsh press from THIMPHU FC. No clean look on that throw-in. It is THIMPHU at the end. Bullying the youngsters. Does manage to keep possession alive. Some dodgy. Might have been a bit too much for the sub-string Cheddar. I do agree that it will help bring in a lot of attention to our Bhutanese league, especially as foreign players from our neighboring South countries will come to Bhutan. The attention that were on them will be brought to our country as well. But at the same time, despite increasing the number of players that can be fielded, it is still a question as to whether the clubs we have, other than the top 2 or 3, are financially capable of bringing those players in anyways. But in the positive side, it should be proper exposure for those players who can't quite make it to the national squad to get international experience. As more and more foreign players surround our local players, it should only be good signs. Corner played in directly towards the post, and it will be a goal. The third for the match, the third straight for THIMPHU FC. There was that straight curler from the captain. Jigsaw completely misjudged it. There was that clearance, but it came inches too late, sent right into the post. And I do believe that it will be credited to the captain. While we are on the topic of clubs signing players, clubs signing foreign players from the South countries, do let us know if there have been any players from the qualifiers that have caught your eye and would like to see a club in the Premier League signing them from the fallen teams, like some Jonker, Funseling, THIMPHU Ravens. Although the spots and the seats for foreign signings have been increased, it is still much better to look at realistic options within our own country. do agree, Bhutanese Honda is definitely one. Som Doji, although his pace is simply above average and not that exceptional, his sense of positioning is truly astonishing. He does commit mistakes, he does slip, he does lose touches on the ball, but his recovery and the effort to get back in position for a shot is what caught most people's eye. So it would for sure be interesting to see him join a Premier League team. There is Som Chazang. A bit too hard on that right. Easy interception there for the Young Dragons. Chador. This might finally be the chance the youngsters were waiting for. Chador. Ended up scanning for way too long. Did not see the defender come his way. As it is again THIMPHU FC. Gelson did not quite expect that challenge from behind. Namgyal Tenzin steals it away. There is the captain Yedin Tarchin. Finally, it looks like the Young Dragons had some time to trim their hair coming into the qualifiers. Both the under-17s and the under-19s did come in with uniform haircuts. Finally, it does seem like they have grown it out to the point where they can modify it a little bit. It's Engineer. Completely ruthless against the youngsters. Heartless challenges coming by the way of St. Neo towards the under-17s. It is St. Kelson who will be playing it long right to the goalkeeper. Tencho. Tencho gets that right foot off, deflected. No room. No angle for that ball to threaten the goalposts in any way. And there we have applause as the number 7, St. Kelson, is stepping out. It is done in sitting. Coming in. Contributed plenty to THIMPHU FC's run right now. Tsering plays it inside. Still anyone's ball. Jixel almost slipped there. Attempt from Punso right towards the goalkeeper. There was that big man. Funso challenge right to the goalkeeper. Might have been a bit too late after he attained possession of it. But we resume play nonetheless. Also, Sam Jonker did have a far-fetched dream going into this match. If somehow THIMPHU FC managed to lose by a deficit of 3 goals or like 4 goals, then Sam Jonker had a chance to qualify, but the scoreline completely in favor of THIMPHU FC, and Sam Jonker pretty much out. Header placed in. Jigsaw comfortable save. Sam Jonker properly knocked out by THIMPHU FC in this match against the under-17s. Som Chukdrol. Brilliant cut. Rolls it in. Slip there. Uncomfortable for a clearance. Finally managed to send it off. The captain can't quite keep it under control. The Premier League this time around. will have teams mostly centered on the western hub of the country surrounding Thimphu. Last season was much better, but it seems like both clubs were struggling. Both clubs were relegated. I did get a chance to talk to a couple of THIMPHU FC players. It seems like the financial situation was quite difficult. And even if they had remained in the Premier League, it seemed quite gloomy. But on the bright side, Samjongkar did show us hope. In terms of regional representation, they brought players who were not that individually capable, but as a team, they were very, very solid. Nobody knew of them other than Samjongkar themselves coming into the qualifiers. But when they left in that last match against Namla, everyone had heard the name of Samjongkar FC. Everyone knew their players. Personally, I was supporting Samjongkar given the run they were providing us with. Entertainment in every match. It is heartbreaking to see them drop off in the final hurdle. But it is signs of a stronger team to come if they can play their cards right. So, Samjongkar FC, if you are listening, we are looking forward to seeing you again. The under-17s. No surprise there. Plenty of attacks simply fizzling out from the young Dragons. Levine Rai, a brilliant hustle nonetheless to get back at Somjukdral. His own mistake, did his best to cover it up, but not quite enough. At least he manages to force THIMPHU to switch things up on that right. Sringchara on his man. Cross played inside. Intercepted. It is Somdoji at the end of it. Challenge comes in. Setsum. Tinchinio sets up the easy tap in from the right. It is the sub Karmatochi earning his spot, putting his name in today's score sheet. Definitely one of the easiest goals for THIMPHU FC in their qualifier campaign so far. Less than 10 minutes remaining. THIMPHU FC with a comfortable 4-0 lead is now undeniably the champions of the BOP Bhutan Premier League qualifiers. Namla FC, as such, has now been shifted down to second place. Jugdral couldn't quite get that touch there. Set him back a couple of yards. A shot does fly in. Jixel there. His body on the ground to stop that roll. Heavy defeat here for the Young Dragons. But throughout their qualifiers, we have seen potential in their lineups. Chung Zhangpo on the wing back, solid. Consistency in his performance. Their number 5, absolutely huge, given his age. They are simply, I believe, no more than class 9 or 10. The number 5, brilliant. Solid forwards in their lineup as well. There is the captain, brilliant potential in that man. Never-ending energy. Despite the losses here, I do hope that the youngsters do not take their losses to heart. They have shown that they can fight level with anyone. They did come short. But hopefully it was quite a valuable experience for the young Dragons. THIMPHU FC, a solid comeback, a story for the ages. Heading into the Premier League, their lineups might change. It is still a question mark as to whether THIMPHU Gelson will continue to play with THIMPHU FC after helping them out in the qualifiers. THIMPHU FC, less than 5 minutes remain. Brilliant passes from the Thunderbolts. It is Tinchiniyo dropping back. No under 17 near him. They know what happens when they go up against the Titan in the middle. Along with his strength, he is absolutely heartless towards the young Dragons, knocking them down time and time again as the shot is played again, a bit off to the right. As there is a sub coming in. Jixel is sent out. And the second substitution, Tandin Gelson, number 25. And it will be Levine Rai taken out. Quiet stretch here towards the end as we await celebrations. Expectations were high, especially given their roster. Every eyes were on them. But THIMPHU FC beating every odds, meeting every expectations, even surpassing them at times. Close calls here and there, but absolute class from their players. As we are minutes away from officially crowning them champions of the BOP, Bhutan Premier League qualifiers. Namla FC did have chances of going through as first place, but after that issue against THIMPHU FC, it is still a wonderful job from their side to still have made the Premier League, given that disadvantage of a loss. Brilliant run on the left, some jugular options to cross in, left foot sends the ball in right towards Jixel. Then Kelson plays it back to Jeddah. Pass doesn't quite get there. Even for Namla FC, it will be interesting to see the lineup they bolster going into the Premier League. Bella did play for Transport. We haven't heard an official announcement of transfer, so it isn't sure which club he will play for. And if these teams want to compete with the elites in the Premier League, they will want a couple foreign signings, which they will want to take a look at. THIMPHU FC does already have Mateo, Conan Torres and Traore. So, if you want to know what is happening, please do subscribe to our Bhutan Football Federation YouTube channel and to our page on Facebook as well, where we will be making announcements for the upcoming BOP Bhutan Premier League season. Pass intercepted, but a bit too hard to get it under control. It is Kinetawa, sent it off to the captain, Yentin Tarchin. He does have the pace to make something out of that possession, but panicked a bit too much. Lost possession as we are awaiting the signal for extra time. Also, I do apologize, but I am not well versed in the particulars and the minutes of the rules with regards to promotion. So I can't really say for sure, but I can ask around and try to figure out what is going to happen with these clubs, as there was the signal 3 more minutes added. Might very well be the last opportunity the under-17s will get for a consolation at least. But it is Baitika who beats him to the race. Ooh, it will be interesting if Bella stays with Namla. It means that we have an entirely new roster from Transport United going into the season, I assume. Jigdrill, I assume, is staying. UD went to Boro FC, I believe. Boro or THIMPHU City? I got it questioned. I got it confused. The goalkeeper, Topke, went to Australia. So after falling to 4th position, Transport will finally have the opportunity to make a proper rebuild. Boro FC also did have the Japanese retire. It means one of their spots for a foreigner is opening up. Yeah, UT is in Boro FC. Solid performance. Captaining. I do believe he was captaining the Transport United side last season. So there is a large gap to fill for Transport. So much pressure on them. Also, I did see Abayumi play in the Nepali league. The Anfa, I believe it was called. So it is also interesting to see whether they will come back or not. Abayumi, an absolutely crucial part with his pace, contributing most goals for Transport. But no matter what signings are made, all we know is that it will be a much more interesting season. Last year was absolute domination for Boro FC. RTC came close. They did manage that one win to end Boro FC's unbeaten streak. So given the time the other clubs have had, it is interesting to see how other teams make changes to their lineups. Boro FC, the team to beat. Namla FC and THIMPHU FC, a chance to establish themselves in their comebacks as well. Through ball. Jixel sends 2 down. Clean challenge there. Choning Zangpo brushes it off. As we are seconds away, and there it is. THIMPHU FC came into this match with the largest expectations out of any team so far. Absolutely huge burdens on the shoulders of the management and players alike for THIMPHU FC. But as the saying goes, they came, they saw, and they definitely conquered, and they are officially the champions of the BOB Bhutan Premier League 2026 qualifiers. The scoreline ending THIMPHU FC 4, the BFF solid fight, not quite enough, ending with 0. And with that, THIMPHU FC shoots up to 13 points, Namla FC at 12. And ladies and gentlemen, they will be the 2 teams to be promoted. Samudra are so close to setting themselves up as the only regional team to qualify from this year. Impressive run nonetheless from their side. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we have our winners. THIMPHU FC are officially the champions. Namla FC, despite their setback, is officially second. Samdu Jonkar now kicked out of the race. The competition pretty much over. Tomorrow we do have a friendly for the under-19s. So the standings is set in stone. It is the THIMPHU Ravens playing the under-19s, but that will not have any consequences whatsoever. Hopefully we see the same energy. We did see a very interesting video from Namla FC in their celebrations in the locker room. Hopefully we see something more entertaining from THIMPHU FC as celebrations will fly high for the Thunderbolts today. It was a fun run. It was a solid fight today, but no chance. Ladies and gentlemen, this was your commentator, Wintesh Doji, signing off. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you again tomorrow.